rise of the creative.
Ooh, is it my turn now?
And now it's time to start the show. What's going on, everybody? It's your man Winston Ward.
And your girl Slayss here with the Rise of the Creative podcast.
And we are back with another one.
Another one.
Listen, guys, I am super excited to announce who we have on today's podcast. Actually, who do we have?
We have writer,
producer,
brand strategist, consultant,
right,
all that,
right, content creator,
right, all that,
everything digital,
everything digital. We got the young Steve Jobs in the building.
Okay, all
we
that.
got the black Steve Jobs.
Okay, all right.
In the building. Got the next tech mogul in the building.
Man.
Okay.
I hope so.
Listen, we have Dev T. Smith here in the building today.
What's going on? What's going on? Thanks for having me.
Actually, what are you?
Because I'm hoping one day you're going to add the sound
I'm
effects.
not going to add those sound effects
You
that
know
you
what?
keep making
Flex
in your
ball.
mouth. No.
Flex ball.
I'm not going to do those either.
Not
That's
even
my
a button
little
there.
soundboard.
Yeah, right. It's no button. It's no button.
I'm going to get a sound. Watch.
Oh my God.
Watch.
But Dev, thank you so much for coming out to this podcast, man. We really appreciate you, man. We look forward to all the gems that I already know you're going to drop for us.
Sure, appreciate y'all.
Before we get into the podcast, we usually start with a creative quote.
Yes.
So, you know what? I'm going to read it this time, actually. All right, so today's quote comes from Lisa Gansky, and the quote is, "A brand is a voice, and a product is a souvenir."
That's a word.
That's super true.
How do you feel about that?
That's exactly. Say it one more time. I want to
Yeah,
hear it again.
yeah, look, here it is. A brand is a voice, and a product is a souvenir.
Absolutely. I think that's all the way true. People don't fall in love with products; they fall in love with people. So you got to personify the brand, and the product is just like that's just a physical.
Right, it'll
thing
be
you
there.
can hold. You know what I mean? That's why people love Apple with a number of phone.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Amazing. All right. Let's see. When did you begin your creative career?
I started as soon as I graduated college, so 2013. Probably even a little bit before I graduated. I was in a really like interesting place, just like personally, where I just like, you know, when you have like older friends that already graduated, they're coming back to you reporting on the real world, and they just sounded like miserable. And I was just like, damn, is it like, it's, you know, I know it's bills and all that, but is it really like that? And I just knew like, I didn't want to live a life where I was just like living about the paycheck.
Right.
I wanted to really care about what I was doing.
For sure.
But I hadn't really like, I knew about the things I was good at, but I didn't really know like how I was going to make that, like I didn't know like how to structure it or like what that was. I didn't know how to like manifest that. I didn't really know what it looked like. So that was around people were like getting into the blogging thing, like real heavy. So I started a blog and it was called Live Inspired. And what it was is like man, it was like it's the ugliest website in the world. Back then I thought it was hot as hell.
Right.
And it was basically like I constructed this website. It was built around the idea of inspiration and like living your life through your passion, right? So I had like the homepage was like a collage of like all the people we look up to, the Oprahs, the Steve Jobs, all of them, but younger. So like Oprah when she was working for the news station, Steve Jobs when he's in his garage, like Russell Simmons, like you know when he's
early days.
Early days on the tour bus with Run DMC and stuff like that. And what I would do is once a week I would do an interview with somebody who I thought was living life with their passion at the forefront of it. So it would be anybody from like artists to like social activists and like anything like that, right? Because I've always been a writer. I never like went to school for journalism, but I could always write. So I was doing those like once a week, and you know it wasn't getting no crazy like you know what I mean, like no crazy burn or anything like that. It's probably like 50 views a week or something. But but even with that little bit, I would get like DMs on Twitter or like messages on Instagram, or even texts from like my homies like, yo, this is like, you know, it's really inspirational. I read this story, like this made me feel good about what I want to do, things like that.
Yeah.
And it would be from like I remember distinctly, I don't remember the guy's name, but it was like some old white dude sent me a message one time. And that was like the first time I recognized the power of content.
Right.
So I kept building on it. It was like a hobby. I was working at Sprint at the time. Shout out to Sprint. And what I noticed was I had like my friends were coming to me asking if they could like write too, if they could contribute. So I was like, all right, well, I don't want to be a blogger because everybody's a blogger.
Right.
So I was like, I'm gonna start a magazine, not knowing really what that involved. So I took.
Now, is this during college or after college?
It's after college.
Okay.
It's like right after, like straight up, walked across the stage. A month later, I'm like putting this thing together.
Okay.
So, so I had like maybe like 5 friends, but even then I knew how to like structure a content experience. So I got one person who would focus on fashion, one person would focus on music, one would focus on business, one would focus on like health and sciences and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And everybody would do like an article a week, and before you know it, we had like an actual like a built up content experience with like things you click through and read. So I grew it. And it changed names a few times and things like that, but it came to the point where I realized like all the artists that were local. I came up here from North Carolina, so like all the local artists were like coming and like trying to get press, and I write really well, so I was making them sound lit, you know what I'm saying? like epic, you know what I mean?
Right.
And then people from other cities. I was in Greensboro at the time. Okay. I'm from Fayetteville, but I went to school in Greensboro. So I was in Greensboro. So I had people from Charlotte, Winston, Salem, all these different surrounding cities wanting to contribute.
Yeah.
They grew from like writers and to videographers, people who like just doing short films and needed a home to put it. We don't have nobody in the South, especially in a conservative place like North Carolina. Like we don't have no connects to no like platforms to showcase our stuff, and you're not gonna walk in to a record label and you're not gonna like throw an event and somebody just happen to be there that could change your life. Like it don't work like that. Right. So like I kind of made it like our complex, our fader. You know what I'm saying? And that was it. That was the start. And that's really what kicked everything off. I ran it for like two or 3 years. We did events behind it. We partnered with the North Carolina Museum of History for some things. We'll probably get to that a little bit later. I don't want to like ramble too much. But yeah, that was the start.
Wow. That's so inspirational. Right. We do this every day. Well, we do this every day, and it's like, dang. Like sometimes it's like you don't see the payoff, and I have to remember that the payoff is not going to be immediately. It's going to be in, you know what, this week we got 75 clicks on our profile. Or this time, you know, he'll look at the streams or the analytics of our Instagram, and it'll be like, whoa, what did we post today that made it such numbers? And it's the little victories that make the bigger ones even better.
For sure.
Exactly. When you were saying like how someone like hit you and you was just like, wow, like I saw the impact. It was just like,
we do that all the time. Like screenshots, like, did you see this? Oh my gosh.
And that's the gas. That's the best part. Like the early part is the best.
Right.
For sure.
Like you know you have a gym. It's like I just want everybody to see this. Like I know this is something. Like I know this can be something really big. Just working from the ground up.
Sure. Who inspires you?
Who inspires me?
Creatively.
Am I allowed to cuss on this?
Yeah.
Pre-fuck nigga shit, Kanye. Kanye was like my biggest inspiration. I fell in love with the culture because of Kanye. I remember the first time I heard him, and that I just appreciated like high level artistic execution. And being outspoken and like bucking the system. So I really fucked with Kanye. I love Steve Jobs. Not so much for the product, but for the way of thinking. He was just really in touch. I always loved Nipsey Hussle too. Shout out to Nipsey, rest in peace. I was listening to him like, 10, 12 years ago. Just when I was younger, and even like at that point, like I like just like owning business and like stuff like that. That was really inspirational. And I gotta say, I was always really inspired, really just by anybody who could like make things.
Right.
It didn't really have to be like a large thing. Like if it was something that I can't do,
right,
then I'm just, you know what I'm saying, that's the gas to me. Like I think it's dope. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm legit the same way. I'm sorry.
No. What's your favorite part of the content process? Like from start to finish, what's your favorite part?
It's a tie between like when the idea finally hits and the reception of it when I share it. Cause it's nothing worse. Like when you writing, it's almost like it's nothing worse than a blank page.
Yeah.
Cause that can defeat you a little bit. Cause you just like you have this concept, but you can't really flesh it out. And I break my writing into sections, so I always like have multiple points I'm trying to hit that build up to like a major point. So like the idea generation part is always like it's fun. Like I enjoy it, but it's the most frustrating part because I have so many moving parts going. So when I finally start getting like when I get that first like intro paragraph down, I'm like, yeah, I'm about to eat niggas alive. You know what I'm saying? And then when I share it, like I love the reactions to it. You know, when people respond to what you make and like have real conversations and they're inspired and they like, you know, when people call you and just want to talk about what you put out, that's a whole nother like vibe. You know what I mean? And like I didn't really like pay so much attention to the fact that I was like educating people and the ability to put into words what people are feeling that I don't even know them, but I could just sense the feeling of the culture like surrounding an event or surrounding a topic, and you know I'm just very sensitive to what's going on around me at all times. So being able to put that into words and like people like or video, you know what I mean, through line of questioning and you produce it and seeing people like react to it, it's always gonna be the sauce, man. I love it.
I love it, man. I love it.
So tell us what exactly is a brand strategist?
Well, I see myself more, I think they're all combined. I think brand strategy, content strategy, and social strategy are all becoming a hybrid role. That there's no like I guess official title for it yet. They'll probably call it something.
Right.
But I see myself way more as like a content strategist than a brand strategist. And the reason I say that is because like I just understand how to build a world based off of content.
Right.
And I think that lends to the overall brand strategy because a brand has nothing if it can't create conversation.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? So am I answering the question? I feel like I just
You getting there.
What was the question again?
What exactly,
I'm so sorry.
That's okay. What exactly is a brand strategist?
Okay, so a brand strategist is somebody who like who can create the ethos and the language of a brand, right? So what does this brand stand for? What does it believe in? What is that language and what does that look like, sound like, and feel like to the person who's supposed to consume it, right? So that's what a brand strategist is.
Cool. And how did you get into doing that, from writing to content and brand strategy?
It was a gradual thing. It was just like one like leans into the other and vice versa. So it just kind of became that. I think that I started off more so like focused on social media.
Right.
That was like my first like professional roles that I had. And I felt like that was the most powerful role to have. People, it's really tedious and really annoying, and like sometimes you just like don't want to look at numbers and be on social. But it's the most important. It's one of the most important functions of a brand and of a company, because it's directly communicating to the masses, to the consumer, right? So I knew like when I started, social media strategy like wasn't a thing. There weren't even like tools for social strategy. I don't even think Twitter had like an analytical component yet. You know what I mean? It was just you was just doing shit. You know what I'm saying? So like, but I knew that it was the future.
For sure.
So that's where I got started. So my first like real gig, I was a marketing coordinator. I was a digital coordinator for this marketing agency called what was it called? Maiden Marketing. And they specialized in meats. Pause. So like, when I say that, it was like Tyson Food for their clients, things like that. So I would I would work, like Tyson Foods was my client that I had to work with, so I would like do all the content, calendars, social calendars, things like that.
Okay.
But even before that, really honestly, that magazine that I started was like the beginning of it, because I was doing all of the, I came up with a lot of the articles, and if I didn't, then I was I was like sitting with people to figure out what we were gonna do and how we were gonna roll it out. So I kind of was like blending the two. I was really like big on storytelling. So from there, I got laid off from that job. So I packed all my stuff in a U-Haul and I dumped it in the garbage, and I went to my mom's house. And I stayed the night, and I got on a plane. I had like $70, and I came to New York, and I was like interning out here with a guy named Daniel Nevada. Great director, huge, and I was like working on set like $50 a day, if he had anything to shoot, and then I was doing stuff on Craigslist, like trying to find a job, and it's a company called Magento on there, and they replied to my resume, so I went in thinking it was just like it was a social media gig, and then the elevator doors open and it said eBay Enterprise on the wall, and I was like, oh shit, it's the bag.
Right.
So that was like my first major actual gig, getting into really at a big company, like working with the marketing department as a whole, brand marketing function, and social media being an arm of it. So I went in there. It was like the VP of marketing for the whole North America. She was named Tammy Canizaro. She was super cool, and she was like, it was still so early on that like nobody knew how to do this shit.
Right.
So she was like, yeah, we just need like some strategy around like social. Like, do you know how to do it? So I was like, can I come behind your desk? She's like, yeah. I walked behind her desk. I pulled up their Twitter. I went on the analytical page. She didn't even know you could do that. And I made her a strategy like right there. And she was like, all right, cool. So when can you start? And that was it. So that was how I got into it for sure, like on a professional level.
That's really cool.
Wow.
So if you could rebrand or consult any company, who would you rebrand?
Or a major
major
like
influencer, right?
Influencer or anything.
Who would you rebrand and do all that stuff with?
Right.
I had like a few.
Perfect.
Name all of them.
Yeah, let's do it.
Uber.
Okay.
Facebook.
Oh yeah.
I'm interested about all these.
And Nike. Yeah.
Please dive deeper.
Right. Start with Uber.
Like in a perfect world.
Right.
Uber, because like I just think that like there's like a deeper story to tell about our connected, like as just like humans, our connection through travel and what that experience is like, and not just the passengers but the drivers. Like, why are you driving Uber?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't think that story's been told.
Yeah.
I think that Uber was so like useful once people caught on to what it was. There was like it almost did the work itself. Like they didn't really have to like do too much. And who's to say that this wasn't their plan to like tell these kinds of stories? They just ended up not having to. And I would love to see those perspectives of like, you know, if people like, you know, if I'm traveling and like I'm in a new town, we're gonna call Uber to go different places. So what's that like small experience like in going to and having like a brand new localized experience in these places that you go, and it looks different and it feels different everywhere.
Everywhere, yeah.
You know, because they're using it in Paris. You use it. I've been on their site before, and it's like everything from the Eiffel Tower to the Vatican are destinations for Uber drivers. So it's like there's a hell of a bunch of stories to tell about that. So I would love to like get in there and like do something with that. Nike, because I feel like they got lazy. And they fell out of touch with like they just got too used to like oh, we Nike, we gonna just re-release the same damn shoe.
Right.
You know what I mean? And put different color schemes on it.
We still gonna buy it.
Yeah, we don't have to do nothing. And I think, I mean, as of late, they've been dope. Like the Serena Williams commercial was crazy.
Yeah.
What they did with Colin Kaepernick was crazy.
Yeah.
They've had iconic stuff with LeBron.
Yeah.
Like they do it. It's not that they don't do it, but I think that culturally, and maybe this is also like they've always been like more like a sports brand, and Adidas is more like lifestyle. But I think Adidas has really like thrown some elbows in terms of like culturally making their product something that we all enjoy from an awareness level. Because it just they just partner with the right people. Didn't they just get Beyonce? Was that Adidas?
Yeah, they did.
It was Adidas. Yeah. I was like, it was Adidas or...
I think she went to Reebok too and walked
out.
out.
Yeah. I remember that. I was just like, wow.
I stand.
Yeah.
See how every...
Yeah.
We have a thing.
Y'all see this?
On every podcast, Beyonce is mentioned.
Of course. How can you not? How you not gonna do that?
I stand.
How you not gonna do that? I'm gonna thirst over Rihanna later too. I'm gonna get to it.
Oh yes.
You know what I'm saying?
She is. No. She, don't get me wrong.
Don't wild out.
I love her as a brand. I love Rihanna as a brand.
Oh yeah. We ain't talking about the music.
No, I love the music. I'm talking about
like one album.
Really?
We gonna get into it.
I only like Auntie.
Auntie?
Yeah, I love Auntie. I think that shit's fire.
Auntie's cool. Alright, we'll get into that later.
What was the other one I said? Facebook?
Facebook. Yes, that was
I just feel like Facebook just got out of control. It was
did.
like if you had a kid and that little motherfucker won't stop growing.
Right.
Like every week you gotta buy this nigga new jeans and new shoes. Like I feel like Facebook was that. And I think it's such an important platform, the way it connects everybody. And we've never seen anything like that. Like you know what I mean? It really birthed everything that we deal with now. And I think that like with all the information that they gather and just like the reach of the brand,
they could do so much.
It's just so much from like more of like a content branding space where instead of like pumping timelines full of unhealthy news and just driving that for the sake of payment, what if that timeline was full of just like original content? You know what I'm saying? Like what if that timeline was like a real like what if that content was like almost like a Time magazine experience where it was like really dope editorial and the brand partnerships were just that much more. You know what you can do with brand partnerships if you have that much data. You know what I'm saying? You can literally make the perfect shit. You know what I'm saying?
Because the funny thing, I don't think people realize the amount of data that Facebook has.
Oh, it's scary. It's scary.
It's crazy.
First of all, everything
illegal.
from games, everything from games to Google is linked to Facebook. I was like, I need to buy me a blue sweater. Sure enough, I got an ad on my Facebook feed for a blue sweater.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. It's crazy. I think that Facebook is like the most beautifully dangerous thing. It's like that girl that's way too good for you.
Too good for you?
Yeah.
I've never heard that.
That is definitely a thing.
Like she's way too fire. Like you're not ready for that.
You mean like you're not ready for that? Not that she's too fire that you're not ready.
No, she is that she's too much for you.
It's just too much.
Even though she's inviting you to deal with her, it's just like, nah, bro.
I already know this is a slippery slope. I already know.
Oh, I know what I'm doing. You ain't gonna catch me. It's all good. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
I'm still like,
yeah, she don't know. It's okay. It's all right. That's for a whole nother podcast.
Right. You know what?
What?
That's content.
Content. Yes, content for another podcast. Right. Let's see.
I saw you catch yourself.
I did. Let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir. Oh, shit.
That's not what we have.
You spoke about your experience at your magazine, and I feel like that you were the owner of that one, right? And you've also worked behind the scenes, correct? With a lot of different brands and stuff like that. Which one do you feel like suits you more? Being more so behind the scenes or being that front person?
Being the front person. But I don't like being, I don't like commercializing it. Like it has to make sense.
Right.
It's kind of weird. Like I love to be behind the scenes to get the work done. I love to be on the forefront to present the work. You know what I'm saying? So like I don't do the whole like, And this might be up to my detriment. Like I don't really do a lot of like inviting people into the process of things, because I think that's a really intimate, artistic space to be in. And I think that because of social and because everybody wants to make a brand of themselves, which is not a bad thing. I think that we have we've tarnished a little bit like the how delicate that process is to get your ideas together,
or even sacred.
It's just really, it's a special place. And if you invite too many people in while you're cooking, then like the meal not gonna come out how you really wanted it to come out. Everybody got a suggestion, or they might start critiquing before. You know what I mean? Like, you ain't even added the seasoning yet. It's like, this could be a little different. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, nah. So it's like, it's kind of like a blend. I really do enjoy the act of creating. I've always been the kid who, like, when I was little, like, my mom would, like you wouldn't hear me in the crib. You know what I mean? Like, you give me some snacks, a juice box, you know what I'm saying, and a sketchbook and my video games. I'm not gonna make a peep until somebody screams my name because I haven't like made any noise in 4 hours. Something happened. You know what I'm saying? So, but I really do love the presentation of things. I love to make sure that you're receiving it right. I can't just give it to you. You know what I mean? It's like you ever been to like somebody's crib who can really? I keep making food references because
listen, hey mate.
You know what I'm saying? But it's like that. It's really like that. It's you ever been to like a restaurant or somebody's crib that like really cooks well, and like while you're eating they just want to explain like
that's so mean.
You know what I'm saying? It's the real deal. They want you to know what you're having. You know what I'm saying?
You gotta experience it.
You gotta experience it. Do you taste that little hint of cinnamon?
That is me.
Like, you know what I mean? That's how it is.
I am like low-key Iron Chef.
A word?
I am.
Let's say number the word.
Listen, I'm not just a podcast. I love
so exhausted.
No, he is. I'm not gonna lie. I am hella extra. But in my extraness, I just want you to experience, because I put my heart and soul into every recipe. But like you said, with people not knowing the source, I can give you the recipe. It ain't gonna come out the same way. So I love to have people enjoy what I create. Like, you taste that. 4 hours it took me to make these chicken wings, since I took a new process to it, or this cake, or this or anything. I had to whisper because my mom would be listening to me.
I had to break it to my mom. I couldn't hide it no more.
Not evangelist boy.
But bro, let me tell you, Ashley, she be coming in here.
Dude.
She be like making like little cakes and stuff. She be like, all right, so let me tell you, this is
like before he even get a bro, I don't even care.
She's like, with the vanilla topping, with this, I'm just like,
it's an art,
you
can't just trying to get the. I'm trying to get it out.
You just gonna eat it, You just gonna eat it and not know about it.
I be trying to get it out. She be like, bro, can I get a fork? Like, no, but wait, listen to this.
Nah, you gotta enjoy this.
Let me tell you how I made this crust.
It's not even gonna taste as good if you don't know what's going into it.
Exactly.
That's what it is. So that's why, like, I love to present.
You see,
now you're gonna appreciate my recipe.
Someone understands.
Yeah, I totally.
Not me.
I'll eat all that shit. We can talk about it all you want.
I'm crazy. Remember the other day, I came here with a banana pudding cheesecake, and I'm like, I made it different. He was like,
what we doing here? I just
where's the fork? Like, you only bought me one? I'm like, no, but this recipe right here, he was like, I don't.
But that's a microcosm for the audience, though, because the audience is just like, yeah, it's dope. All right, I'm watching it. Like, no. But nigga, did you catch the transition? Did you see that edit? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't even know what you're taking in right now. Yeah, I gotta explain it.
They don't even get it.
I got to.
But my fiance, he entertained all that. He went, word.
That's because he ain't crazy. He got it. That shit gotta keep coming.
I'm in the kitchen like. He like, yeah, do that. Flambe that thing. Baby, this not flambe. Go ahead and put the thing.
Yeah, whatever that shit is you said.
Do that. Yeah.
That's funny.
Do you want to pause for an ad yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
Let's ask him a couple more questions.
Okay.
I have another question. Let's see. You named the brands that you would collaborate with. Is there any artists dead or alive that you would collaborate with?
Oh, that's a good one. Nipsey,
Right.
for sure.
Right.
Who else? Dead or alive? I would still collaborate with Kanye. I still would.
In what capacity?
Like a live event, experiential kind of thing. Like I just thought it was like hella dope when they did. My first ever concert was Watch the Throne, and I know he had a lot to do with the stage design, and it was like this crazy ass like.
Yeah.
It was like these pillars that were going up and down, and it was like digital sharks like swimming around in it, and it was like. It was crazy, and then I loved. I didn't go, but the Yeezus tour. I thought that was so amazing. The theatrical component of it, like people weren't building stage sets like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like got the white Jesus walking out and shit. Like it was just crazy. So I you know, I'm always able to look past. I can still hold someone accountable and responsible for what they're doing. Like I honestly haven't. Like I stopped following Kanye mad long ago. Like I can't deal.
Yeah.
But I will still give credit where credit is due,
For
and
sure.
I think from a storytelling component, or excuse me, a storytelling approach, he's like one of the best who's ever done it. So I would definitely collab with him. And lastly, two people, Steve Jobs,
Right.
and J.K. Rowling.
Why J.K. Rowling? She's a genius.
Created
No,
a
I know.
whole world.
Like literally the
That
whole
shit
world.
is amazing.
Right.
That's like niggas ain't paying attention. That's some Walt Disney shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I thought that was like top tier.
Yeah.
Like she has literally created from words, which is what I appreciate.
Right.
Is words and able to like even though she came out with that stuff like before the internet like became like a crazy thing where it was like distracting us the way it is, you're still hard pressed to get some 10-year-olds to sit down and read through a 300-page book.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And we read all them shit.
Y'all
We read all.
I wasn't
you know what I'm
into
saying?
it. I wasn't into the. I was more into.
I love
like,
the movies. I love the movies.
Oh, I love the movies too.
I was
but
into
read
like
all the
Zora
books.
Neale Hurston and stuff like that. I love books like that.
Okay.
And Toni Morrison and Alice Walker and. I wasn't in. I was like, this book is big as hell. I'm not reading this.
That's why I attacked him. I was always like a fake ass brainiac. Though. Like I would get in school and we go to the library and I go get the biggest book. I didn't even know what the fuck. I'm not even comprehending it, but I just want niggas to know that I'm up here with it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I would definitely
I
collaborate.
read it. That was like Startosa, but that's a spell. My mama raised me too church. I'm like, that's a spell.
Yo.
Suckers in those demons in this house. As for me in my house.
Witchcraft?
Right. It is witchcraft.
I mean, it was. That's funny.
Alright. How has your culture inspired you in your work?
You mean like pop culture or like who you
It
mean?
can be from anything. From
Pop
being
culture.
a black man
Right.
or culture. Pop culture. Anything.
Okay. I would say that I've like. Okay, I'll do this like kind of like in order of occurrence. I grew up in the military, right? I'm an Army brat, so I never lived anywhere like more than 2 years after a certain point. So I always, even though I didn't know it yet, like that's a culture.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like anybody who's grown up in the military, we all have the same experiences. Like if you ask me where I'm from, I'm like, what time frame? You know what I'm saying? So like, my fault. So that inspired me without me knowing it, because that's how I learned to observe. Because when you know you're gonna be the new kid, you create a system.
Right.
Eventually, you know what I mean? Where it's like, all right, I'm going to school, I'm gonna hang back, I'm gonna figure out who's who, you know what I mean? Figure out where to fit in, and then eventually build my custom experience in this place. And I know I'm gonna be gone in 2 years, so I'm not gonna get too attached.
Right.
So I'm always able to consume something without like feeling like it belongs to me. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So like that allows me to like appreciate things more, because because I can let it go. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's deep.
So like that was the first thing that ever like inspired me. I never there was one time like I said we was moving because it was like a dope place, like and really random. Like I was living in Illinois, like it was like random military base, but that shit was fire.
Right.
I just love living out there. But I never was mad to leave, because like I picked up so much. I was always around different cultures, people who come from Japan and like different countries and all this other stuff. So like I was always able to like. That's why I feel like I can go anywhere and associate with somebody. There's a commonality in us that I can always find.
Right.
So that inspired me first. Pop culture inspired me second. And I didn't get into pop culture until Kanye West. I'll never forget, I was in the car. My pops had just bought a Chevy Envoy. It was whatever year Kanye came out, like 03 or something like that, 02. And he called me out the house, and I didn't know he was getting a new car. So he called me out the house. I came outside. That shit had rims. I was like, word. That's all we had. We had like a busted Camry before.
Right.
I was like, all right, we coming up. Niggas got a backyard. There's a lot going on right now.
Right.
So like I got in the whip, and he was like, you know, we riding around, you know, the mail bonding thing. He's like, yeah, we're gonna test the system. Turns out the system, and it's through the wire. It's my first time ever hearing it. I will never forget this shit as long as I live. And the bass was all crazy, and it was like this feeling. I was like the sample, and I was just like, I don't know what this shit is, but I like it. And then they said his name on the record, like, and you could see on the record, like, this is when the digital dash was first coming out. I'm taking y'all back right now. And they said Kanye West, and they said his name. I was like, all right. So when I get home, I go on the computer, I look him up, and I'm looking at the video for Through the Wire, and it's that flip book thing where it's like a photo album, and I'm just like, all I've ever seen is niggas with guns, and like, you know, I know that's cool, like, you know, everybody got a family member or two who gets into that, but you know what I'm saying, but that ain't me, you know what I mean, this is my first time being able to associate with hip hop. Before this, I grew up on Tupac, you know what I'm saying, so like, I'm hearing it, but like, that's not my life, so this is my first time feeling like I belonged in pop culture, so seeing that scrapbook, I remember like, I was triggered because my dad like used to have a scrapbook. I didn't even know he could draw, but I found it, and he like, wow, like my dad had like crazy with his hands, like he can build you a house, like he's one of those visual people that can just do shit, super weird. So I remember it was like this clash of like remembering seeing that and seeing this flip book and this like the music, and like I remember like I'm like, Mom, you gotta get a sketchbook. So we go to the store the next day, get me one of them big old sketchbooks, and like ever since then, like that's when I started like using my imagination to draw and create worlds, create things, draw my own sneakers, things like that. But it was that introduction to pop culture. Wow. As I grew, I appreciate pop culture because it's like it's our way of as the youth to document our experiences and share it. Yeah. So it was always a goal of mine to get involved and speak my piece, and it could be heard on a large scale, or maybe not. Maybe I never had to go like I want to be the next Elliott Wilson or nothing like that. But I just wanted to be in the mix, and I wanted to like when it comes like niggas gonna respect my pen one day. You know what I'm saying? So there's that, and then the final thing is like being a black man. I didn't really like. I was never not proud to be black, but I didn't understand like who we are. You know what I'm saying? Like the function of a black man in society. You know what I'm saying? And who we are supposed to be to our women and like raising our children. Like I'm just now getting to that space, and that's why a lot of my content over the last year reflects the black experience. Because like I feel that responsibility to like it's a lot of fuck shit going on. And it's a lot of clown shit going on. And like I'm not standing here to say I'm the realest nigga in the world, but we also have to like let's reel it back in. Let's have fun. Let's reel it back in and address this shit.
Have some accountability.
Let's have some accountability and talk about what's going on from a space of maturity and be introspective too. So I think those three things have kind of like created the space that I'm kind of like adjusting to right now and trying to build structure around. I know that was super long-winded.
No, it was dope.
You can tell that you're a writer because
so structured. Like you gave us an introduction about it. MLA style. I'm like, okay.
She said MLA style. Oh,
usually you have to like. Sometimes you have to like draw stuff out of people by asking like follow-up questions. You ask all questions. I don't even think we need to answer. We done.
You're hilarious.
Really quick before we go for the pause for the ad. Would you rather change history or
I saw this one. I like this question.
Would you rather change history or see the future?
See the future. History's already done. It already happened. What I want to change it for? I might not be here. I might fuck something up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like I might fuck around and like, I don't know, like, you know what I'm saying? Like you change one thing and then two people don't meet and then like you're not even there. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't change history. Like it's ugly and it's beautiful. But I would definitely want to see the future. I mean, who don't want to get the drop? Like, you know what I'm saying, on what's going on.
I already know what's about to happen.
Yeah. I would love to see the future. I do think sometimes, like, I feel like I do see the future, but not like on some like mystical, like I travel time and space type of thing, but more so like that's what strategy is.
Yeah.
That's what content strategy is like I'm anticipating this is where the culture's going. I'm anticipating that this is the type of conversation people want to have. I'm anticipating that like I'm putting words together that people can't put together themselves to explain a feeling or to explain an occurrence. So like, yeah, I think that's what it is. Like any creator is seeing the future. You see something in your mind before it's done. That's futuristic shit to me. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
So culturally, where do you see? No, strategically, where do you see the culture going?
That was really good.
Yeah, that was good. That was good.
I
don't usually get body rock, but that was, you caught me. Strategically, where do I see the culture going? I mean, I think it's just going to go through its regular cycle. I think that, like, people are legitimately getting tired of consuming so much stuff. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I think people are, like, wise enough now to know when they're being pandered to. So I think the culture strategically is moving towards a space of, and you see it happening, like quality over quantity again. Right. You see a lot of these, like, look at like Mass Appeal, like killed their whole editorial and started over and was like, yeah, we're just producing like video series now, so we can give you quality over quantity. You see like who else was it? Revolt. When I was there, like, you know, Revolt essentially had to eat itself and like come back with a fresh take with less stuff. They laid off like 1/3 of the company. That's why I ended up not working there anymore. Like it had to happen. I was never upset because it had to happen. Sometimes you gotta like, you know, you gotta chop off that limb before the disease spreads. And it's just like you know, you can't keep doing the wrong shit. You know what I mean? So I think like from a strategic place, like everybody's just like condensing and chopping down and being like, all right, instead of us having, you know, 1 million writers across the freaking spectrum of whatever, let's make a SWAT team of people. You know what I'm saying? That's what I want to do. Like my next big task, I want to like really be in charge of the platform. You know what I'm saying? Of a platform. And like, you know, do it in a way that's, you know, I don't need 50 writers and a bunch of video and all that other stuff. Like let's be like savants about this. Let's be intelligent. Let's have like a few of us who really come together to tell impactful stories. And that way when it hits, niggas know it's important when they see it, as opposed to being numb to it because it's on the timeline every 5 minutes. So I think that most people are taking on that strategy because it's just not sustainable to be trying to push something out, you know, 12 stories out in a day. Like it's just like, if you pushing 12, it ain't that much shit to talk about that's good. That means that's only 3 or 4 of those that's actually maybe fire. If that, the rest is fluff. So I think strategically the culture is like has had enough. It's too many people been slipping through the cracks that don't mean right by the culture. It's too many people who are capitalizing off of it but don't care what happens to it after they're done with it. And that happens when you open the floodgates because you need content. So I think like we're getting to a space where, you know, we're doing a little bit more gatekeeping and just like caring more about what we're saying. And virtual reality and augmented reality are definitely gonna be like a crazy situation.
That's coming.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting when that's like the norm, when those goggles aren't ugly and they look like this. You know what I'm saying? That's just gonna be crazy. So yeah, that's gonna be a thing.
I want to speak to you. I want you to speak a little bit on the last article that you wrote. It was something that I read, and it was just.
Dope.
Thank you.
I don't think dope is the. It was definitely dope, but I think it was. That was how I knew. Like obviously, like you being here today and just talking to you through the interview, I know that you're knowledgeable, but just hearing you now is just. I just kind of like walk us through your thought process of that and just how was that like for you creatively, like to just get that out?
That was me grieving in my own right, honestly. I feel like our duty, like when you're a creator and like another creator does something good or like makes a statement piece or something happens to them, like you're supposed to, you know what I mean? Like that's how we share with each other. Like we make dope shit for other ones to consume and get inspired by. So when Nip died, that one really stung me because it's just like on multiple levels, like as a creative, to like you have this vision of what you want and what you want to build, and like, you know, we all like have a dream. If we, you know, everybody has a dream, and some people might hear this or see this and think they don't have a dream, but they just haven't tapped into it yet. They haven't realized it yet. They will have an aha moment. You know what I'm saying? So like, I was personally really bothered to see somebody like put that 10,000 hours in over and over again for 10, 15 years, and to die in front of what took them so long to build. Like the irony in that was like really, really like striking to me. And then on top of that, just like as a black person, not even just as a black man, but just as a black person, like I think that, you know, we all deal with the reality that success is dangerous. And we're not the only group, but we're primarily the group of people here in America that are subject to watching our heroes die. And we don't pay attention to how traumatic that is. So I felt like that's why everybody was so upset. Because you saw a lot of people on Twitter and Instagram, like, in so many words saying they couldn't put a finger on why they felt so upset about this guy dying, when, you know, they might have been fans and stuff, but they never were like, you know, people weren't like this. Nipsey's whole shit has just gone over the top since he died. Like I wasn't even expecting that like global tribute and all that, like on some like a political like hero dying, like on some Nelson Mandela shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, but before that, it wasn't like that. It was like if you really dug hip hop, and his last album was fire. You know what I'm saying? But I think that's why everybody was so bothered, because like once he did die, and then there were like just more information shared about him, and you see like, you know, this man, like, you know, he was doing it right. You know what I'm saying? He had his family, and you know what I mean, he was doing his neighborhood right. And it's like that's what we all want to do. We all want to go get rich and come back. In some regard, we want to put our family on. So I think that's why everybody was upset. And I just was like, you know, let me break this down, because I think that we're not. I don't think that we're really pinpointing what the pain point is here. And I was like, well, if I can help address it, then maybe it'll help. You know what I mean? Like, I just wanted to, like, we all going through this together. We go through these things together. We go through seeing the police kill us on camera together. We go through, you know, black men and black women, like, you know, coming together and clashing sometimes, and coming together in love. And like, we're still trying to figure out that dynamic, because of that there's like such a societal construct there. Like, that shit is levels to why we have so much. It ain't animosity. It's just frustration, because we want to love each other a lot, but we don't know how, because sometimes we playing defense. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I felt like we were going through this together. You know what I mean? Like, I had homies, like, I shed a tear. I was really sad. I was really sad about it. I had, like, in the conversations I was having with my homies, you know what I mean, was just so much of, like dog, I don't know, I'm just sad about this stuff. So I wanted to break it down. And I think that, like, success is dangerous for us, and it causes a certain degree of anxiety. If you have nice things, it can put you in a dangerous situation. If you live somewhere nice, it can put you in a dangerous situation. You know what I'm saying? If you have a high profile job, or if you're like just doing well in what you're in the spaces you're in, and you know the higher you climb, the less people you see that look like you. You know what I mean? Tell me you don't feel paranoid. You know what I'm saying? You don't even know if you want to check off that you're black on a job application, because they might not. You know what I mean? Like, that's sick. You know what I'm saying? That we have to carry that, and I don't think we address it. So I wanted to point that out. And then Black Flight with us, like, leaving our neighborhoods when we when we get on a certain level of success, and it's like it makes sense to want to leave your neighborhood, but it's also detrimental.
For sure.
And I wanted to paint that picture where it was like, why do we feel like we gotta leave? Well, this is why, like, cause, you know, look what happened to Nip.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it shouldn't be that way. But the reason that it is that way is because we keep leaving our neighborhoods.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We have to get used to the mindset of like, even if there's nothing wrong with if your neighborhood is run down and you know what I mean, like of course if you have the ability to not raise your kids in that, then sure.
Yeah.
But you should always look for ways to improve that till we get to the point where there's a part in the article that's like 40% of Black America lives in the suburbs, right? Which completely kills that notion that like most of us are in a poor socioeconomic space. So I wanted to paint that picture where it's like, if it's 40% of us live in suburbs, right? But then if you look at, like if you want to go name like affluent Black neighborhoods, it's the same 10 that they name in across different platforms, and it's years apart, and they still naming the same ones. So what does that say? We are with haste, like quickly leaving the neighborhood when we get on.
Yeah.
But we're barely building it back up, right? So it's a cycle that keeps creating itself, and we don't want it to be that way. But it's like, how do you tell the kid who was looking at Nipsey doing it the way you're supposed to do it and got clipped? How do you tell that kid? You know what I'm saying? How do you tell that adolescent, like, nah, stay where you at, build your neighborhood up?
Right.
Why would I do that when the nigga that I know, there's pictures of him with that nigga. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, how do I, like, I'm conscious of the fact that it's 8 niggas next to me. 2 of these 8 niggas, they might do something to me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And the psychology in that is sick.
Yeah.
So I wanted to paint that picture. And then lastly, I wanted to paint the picture of like, that we still have, like, despite that, like, we're in a special moment as Black people, and we can't afford to get knocked off track.
Right.
So let's grieve, and let's do what this man laid the example for us to do.
Exactly.
There should always, like, anybody could be a Nipsey Hussle. You don't have to be a top dog, famous rapper, or whatever. There's a Nipsey Hussle in every neighborhood, so embrace that person. And see what you can help do for them. Because maybe you don't want to sit there and be in the mix all the time. Maybe that person does, and they're important for that. So you should treat them with that respect. And you know, I don't know, man. I just wanted to put that together, and that was my respect and my salute to Nip, and that was my pat on the back to my brothers and sisters. And that was my contribution to the culture. Like, everybody was doing a piece. If you got the ability, like, everybody was getting busy. I was getting calls and texts from homies that work here, like my good friend Ivier at OK Player. She was like, yo, I'm writing a crazy one right now. And I was like, I texted her back. I was like, yeah, I'm about to it's going crazy. She dropped hers the day before, so I was like, all right, I ain't even gonna drop mine today. I'm gonna let
it sizzle. What's that?
Let her, you know, it's her day. You know what I'm saying? And everybody had their, like, my man Julian, like, he had a Forbes piece. He had interviewed Nipsey, like way back. So he pushed that out again and was up on CNN talking about Nipsey and stuff. And I was like, yeah, I'm just waiting. Like, yeah, it's coming. So when I dropped it, it did really. I've never gotten a response like that. Like I'm still getting phone calls, and people just want to talk. Like they wrote notes, and it's trippy to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It was so eloquently written. Like, that's what I was thinking. But
Right.
you said it eloquently, and you got it across without having me feel stupid. Like, I get it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes you see these articles, and you're like, I really don't. I read it, but I didn't take it right. I got it.
Yeah.
But it was eloquently written. Like, I can see this in Time, or I can see this in the New York Times, or whatever. Or it was. I was like, wow. When I even texted Winston, I was like, bro, I'm so intimidated. But I mean, I'm on the show. I'm like, he's a real writer. I didn't know that. And he's like, actually, relax.
No, I'm mad regular.
I'm
mad regular. Mad regular.
Just reading your work, you're not regular. I was gonna say, you're not regular. Just reading your work, I was like,
You know, it's real interesting you say that because that's something that I'm just starting to like embrace.
Step into your dopeness.
I've always been like, it's always been this way, and I've always like, you know, built spaces for people to make art, and I've always kind of like shined in that light.
Yeah.
But I cared so much about making sure that the receipts and the resume was there. And I also like, I don't like to be that guy who's like I'm not like I'm definitely like observing culture, but I'm not like into the gossip and all that. So I just don't like to like, you know, like I think I would. There was a time when I would think too much about writing. You know what I'm saying, about like what I was projecting as a writer. But something really special happened when the Nipsey piece came out. This kid from back home. He DM'd me and he was just like, yo, Dev, I don't know if you remember me. I used to work at this store. My roommate used to manage a store called Social Status. Okay. And there's this kid, I think his name's Brandon. He used to work in there. And this was back like when I first started. He was like, yeah, I don't know if you remember me, but you know, we met, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, I remember you, how you doing? And he was like, yo, I just, you have some time on your calendar this week to talk. I'm like, yeah, anything in particular? He was like, well, I just kind of wanted some advice on some things. And I was like, all right, cool. Like, I'm not one of those pay me for my time niggas, like, depending on who you are, right? So we get on the phone, and it was amazing. He was like, he was quoting articles that I forgot I wrote. Yeah. And, like, just old stuff. You know what I'm saying? And, like, things that maybe I dropped like in January, things that like just kind of like, and it was just like you wrote notes on that shit, right? You know what I'm saying? And like he was asking me for certain advice, and I could hear his pen in the background, like jotting down what I was saying, and I was just like, damn. And then getting certain text messages, like I got a text from a homie. He was like, bro, like I read that shit and cried. And I got like my grandfather read it. Like my grandfather's like 78 or something like that. Probably older than that. And I guess my uncle sent it to him, and I had this long text from my grandfather talking about like how there's only X amount of black millionaires in our neighborhoods. Like it's just this dialogue. I talked to my mom read it, and we talked about it, and like it's just been like you can't, like, for people to call you, it's just different, man. Like it's just different than like a retweet or like. Yeah. You know, I don't have 1 million followers. It's not gonna look like that when you see it. But even the paragraphs people were typing in the comments. Yeah. And this has happened before. Like, but I don't know, something about this particular experience. I was just like, man, there's really power in the pen, and you know, and like literally like these people like want me on the podcast and things like that. And I just don't think so much of myself. Like I'm working. Yeah. You know what I mean, I do what I do, and I'm working, and this is my art, this is my craft. You know what I'm saying? I don't really think of myself as like any type of like commentator or anything like that. I just see things away and I write it down, and I think I'm just starting to step into that space where I'm like, you know what? You know, and people have been telling me for a long time, like, yo, people need to hear you, people need to see you, like, you should speak. Like, it's one thing to read, but when you talk about things, it's just a different thing. Yeah. But I don't think about it that way, because this is me. I talk like this. I'm just talking. You know what I'm saying? Right. So it's been an interesting experience. Like, I don't know, man, and it just, on a deeper level, it's like, you know, Nipsey's messaging about, like, embracing your passion, embracing your journey, and all these things that I'm already doing, but like for him to die and for that to be the avenue through which I accepted, you know, the gravity of my gift, it's some other shit. Yeah. I had to smoke one of that. I feel you. You know what I'm saying?
It's crazy. You said something, and it made me think of something that someone said to me. It was this little kid. He used to live in this building, and I've had like my recording studio here for a minute, but I never knew like anyone like was watching me, like you know, do my, you know, just like come here every day, record and stuff like that. And he was just like, yo, man, like you don't understand, like you really inspire me every time I see you. And it's just like I never thought that, like I never thought that like what I was just doing. And me and him, we never really interacted like that. But I mean, obviously after that conversation, we interacted more, but. And that just goes to show that, you know, you never know who you're inspiring through your creativity.
Right.
You know, because to be honest, I'm creative selfishly. Like, I do it a lot for myself. You know what I mean?
That's cool.
So
I don't even know if that's selfish.
Yeah. You're right.
You know what I'm saying?
You're right.
I don't know if that's selfish.
You're right. But you're right. Not selfish, but I don't do it I don't do it for a show. Like, I do it to satisfy my need, you know? And just to find that other people are satisfied with it is just, like, mind-boggling.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
That's what it's for.
Y'all gotta step into y'all dopeness. Listen, you can do it humbly, but you can take that praise like that, you know? I did that. Hell yeah. Like, that was, yeah. I love when people love what they do.
Yeah.
Like, that's, I'm looking at y'all guys like, oh, that's so adorable. I love when people, like, find their passion, and I say this all the time, I love when people find their passion and they're living in it. And they're doing it, especially for us, like, I know I have a time I'm like, dang, I'm this age.
25.
I'm 25, and I'm not here yet. And it's not, I want other people's timeline. I have to remember to work on my timeline. And to see people my age doing it, that's inspiration for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's important for us to look at it, to stop looking and comparing.
Yes.
As in the sense of, this person is excelling more than me or whatever. Instead, just like be inspired by it, and just be like, okay, that's dope. Like, let me see how I can, you know, apply that to me. I think that we it's because we live in a capitalist society that we're brought up on this competition. Yeah. The sense of like having to compete, and it's like, no, at the end of the day, we're a community. Right. You know what I mean? And like, you know, I don't believe that if you're a person who has good work ethic and good intentions, that nothing's gonna happen for you. Oh, for sure. It might not happen on your time, and it might not happen. It might not look how you think it's supposed to look, but it's still there. Right. And I think that like social media has become dangerous in that light because we all also trying to make it. Like we're all trying to whatever making it looks like for you. We're all trying to get that. So like if you know, it's when you already having like a funky day and it's like shit ain't going right and maybe, I don't know, the mic broke or something like that, and then you get on Instagram and like somebody's got a feature in Forbes and you're just like, ah, damn, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, it's you know, everybody get their turn. You know what I mean? In some regard, you're gonna get your turn, so you just gotta respect when somebody having theirs and just like, you know what I mean?
Comparison is the thief of joy.
Yeah, straight up. I say that all the time.
Straight up.
She stole that from me. All right, Ashley, let's get to your favorite part, because I know you wasn't interested in no other part.
No, I didn't hear nothing.
You only was waiting for this favorite part of yours, so go ahead.
This is my favorite part of the show.
Oh, shit. She about to sing. No, I'm joking.
Right?
Okay.
He won't let me sing.
No.
That's on another podcast.
Yeah,
okay,
that's another podcast.
Yeah.
Okay.
He won't even give me voice lessons.
Nope.
Listen.
You deserve better.
You don't have to unionize this shit.
You be hyping it,
I really do.
You ain't gotta take that. You ain't gotta take that. You done put all
Come
that.
over to Death Row Records.
You know what
Like, listen, I'm leaving this shit.
You done put all that shit on your face, make sure the licensing you right. You can't even sing a note. That's fucked up.
He will never let me sing.
Listen, he hitting you with all the Drake lines.
He didn't even hit my remixes. I ain't even doing no I am Queen remix. Okay.
Okay.
I got ADD.
It's okay.
So my favorite part of the segment is called Rapid Fire Questions.
Oh,
you know the Jamaican thing? I'm like,
You go with the sound effects again.
my own.
But we knew what you meant.
Exactly.
You gotta get one of them soundboards so you can press.
Thank you.
Yeah.
He never asked them, so now in the podcast, I sound slow. I'm gonna be politically correct. I'm not gonna say retarded.
It's resourceful.
I'm like,
You're just being resourceful.
Right. Okay. Are you ready? So you have like 0.2 seconds to answer these questions. Are you ready?
Damn, I'm a thinker too. Shit.
No,
okay,
you gotta be quick.
Alright.
You ready?
Uh-huh.
Would you rather be alone for the rest of your life or always be surrounded by annoying people?
Alone.
Would you rather change the past or see the future?
See the future.
Would you rather never be understood by anyone or never understand anyone again?
Never be understood by anyone.
Celebrity crush.
Rihanna.
Facebook ads or Google AdWords?
That's awful. Facebook ads.
Favorite food?
Cheesesteak.
Ooh.
Cheesesteak.
I'm from Philly originally.
Well, okay.
I used to eat like 3 of them bitches a day.
Wow.
Yeah, back when I was young and your stomach could handle that.
You're right.
Yeah, nah.
Right. We sit here looking like the clumps. He like, when I eat 3 a day, I'm like, okay.
Yo, you are
I hear Winston
crazy.
trying to come up these stairs.
Yeah.
You gotta hear me when I come up these stairs. I be like,
I was not prepared.
give me 20 minutes.
I was not prepared.
Yeah.
The clumps. Oh my god. That was fucking funny.
We have one last question.
Okay.
Not one last question, but I have one last question. Do you have a secret talent? It doesn't have to be like a secret.
Yeah, just something that not a lot of people know about you.
Right.
I can rap, but I'm never putting no shit out. That's not what I want to
Like
do.
you got bars?
Yeah, no, I definitely can rap, but I'm never doing that shit.
Why? Why would you not do it? Feel like it's oversaturated?
No, it's just like, it's not like.
It's not your thing.
Yeah, no, it's just an extension of my ability to play with words. That's all.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I think anybody, like, you know what I mean?
Oh, for sure.
If they really try, if you can write poetically and like put together a stream of thoughts in an organized fashion, you can do music or at least write it. But yeah, I mean, I've always been able to do that.
So would
shit.
you be like a ghostwriter?
Nah. I mean, I played with it just like anybody else.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I've recorded before. I've performed before. Like you know what I'm saying? Like I'm always willing to try some shit out.
Right.
I've done that, but it's not like I don't wake up and think and feel like I gotta get to the studio. But like I'll wake up and be like, oh, I gotta write this shit. You know what I'm saying? So like, nah, I'm not really like I'm always like I care about like time and where it's spent, and like I'm not about to like do that shit, so I don't really think about it. But yeah, I mean, it's a secret to some people, but I mean, there's plenty of people who know. Like,
what would be your rap name?
This is the name I got.
Say it.
I would never make no character out of myself.
No character.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. You see, that's my name.
I think about my rap name all the time. I do.
What is it?
What would it be?
I haven't decided yet.
Okay.
I could have sworn she was about to come up.
It's either gonna be okay. I have thought about it.
Hair flip. All right.
Look what you done
Here we
did.
go.
It's pressuring me. I'm probably gonna be Ash Slayss, right?
Oh.
Because I love that tag. I don't know how I came up with that. It was
That
divine. Or I'd probably be like Fat Yonsei.
Fat Yonsei.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Because I could do it.
Okay.
I could.
Right.
I got bars. Winston, no, I got bars. Like I got
you got the
bars.
rapper hand right there.
I got bars.
That's the 50 Cent rapper hand
Right.
right there. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
You chopping somebody.
That chop.
He'll never let me record.
Never.
Why don't you do it
We in a
yourself?
whole ass studio. He never lets me record.
Record yourself.
No.
Wow, when he got all this fancy,
I'm
expensive
saying, you can
equipment.
record yourself on it.
I could, but then I'll have to learn.
Yeah, you
Right.
should have to edit it.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's the part.
And all that, auto tune and the beat, and I don't know how to download from YouTube to get a beat. All that. He won't let me. So.
Yeah, nobody wants to do the editing of anything. I shot my first doc, and I was like, I remember when I was with my man AJ, he helped me film it. And he was like, when you gonna put it out? I'm like, oh, I'm thinking like 3 months from now. He was like, all right. I was like, all right, you a hating nigga. I'm still gonna do it. And long story short, it took me 2 years to put it out.
Whoa. Just over editing.
Yeah, and like I was learning as I was going, so it was interviews I had to reshoot.
Gotcha.
I was like learning like, okay, I thought it was supposed to be about this, but it's really about this. So now I gotta shoot
so you
that.
had to reshoot.
Yeah, and I was like in between New York and North Carolina at the time. I was taking like the megabus back to shoot, so it just took a while. But yeah, nobody likes to edit. Yeah.
All right, listen, Dev, thank you so much for being a part of this, man. You don't understand the amount of gems that you drop, man.
Oh, man, thank you.
Appreciate you so much. Listen, can you please tell the people where they can find you?
Oh yeah, you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at DevTSmith. On Twitter is at DevTSmith_. I'm mostly on Instagram though, for whatever reason. I get more love on Instagram, so that's where you can probably find me at the most. If you ever want to check out my work, it's at devtsmith.biz. You know, you can look out for, any announcements as far as like panels I might be on or speeches I might be giving.
Right.
And in general, man, like I'm easy to find, man. Just tap in. If you want to hit me up, you hit me in.
Right.
I pull up. Like I ain't, if you want, I'm here to spread the conversation. So it's whatever.
That's amazing.
Where can they find you at, Winston?
You can find me on Instagram at the R&B Student, TheRnbStudent. You can also follow my hashtag, which is Can I Sing For You? Ashley, where can they find you?
That's poetic. And Winston is such an esteemed name.
Right.
Is it?
Yeah, it sounds like you're gonna get a library named after you.
Perfect.
Yeah.
See?
I've been giving you love the whole time. I gotta give him something.
Right.
I gotta get a drum or something. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. You can find me on my Instagram at @ash_Slayss, ASH_SLAYSS. Or you can find my hashtag, Big Girls Don't Take Full Body Pics.
Right. Okay.
I'm dead serious. Hashtag Big Girls Don't Take Full Body Pics.
And you can follow the podcast, obviously, at Roger the Creative NYC. And please be on the lookout for a lot more content, more interviews. And thank you guys so much for listening.
The rise of the creator.
Wait. What about now?
All right. Maybe the next show.